Welcome to another Raven and Kaligoddess show. We are welcoming today Samia from the Conscious Healing Path. How are you today, Samia?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you. Welcome to all who have connected to our video today. And I love you with all that I am. Veluvia.
Yeah.
Alluvia.
So, how are you two, today?
Fabulous. Fabulous.
So good. Happy fall equinox. And I love the church bells behind Samia today. It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day
So,
indeed.
yeah. So, Samia, what brought you onto your spiritual path?
So my spiritual path began. I was pretty little. I was I don't even remember, maybe 10 years old or something like that. And I actually grew up in Africa, in West Africa, in a country that is called Benin. And if you know that country, it's good. It's a really, really beautiful country, slow living type of country that I really love. And but it's also, the cradle of voodoo. I don't know if you know that religion, the voodoo, which is a pretty inverted religion. So for everyone who grew up in Benin, we all have some kind of encounter with what is called, or what people call supernatural, which is pretty natural for us over there because it's something that you grew up with. You've known it your whole life, so you know it exists, and you can either ignore it and move on, or you can, not ignore it and try and do something about it. So when I was growing up, I kind of did both. Through all my teenage years, I completely tried to block myself from these, supernatural encounters and events that was happening in my life. And as I was growing up, I was speaking to my mother, and she started talking to me about, shielding your energy and things like that. And that was way before I knew about Aurora. And she was speaking to me about creating a bubble of love, a bubble of light. That is what she was saying. She used to say, create a bubble of light around you, create a bubble of light around the house, and protect yourself. Go ahead and do that, and you'll be fine. And that's how I started, protecting myself. And at that time, I didn't really understand that it was shielding. It was energy shielding. I just knew that I needed to do that in order to be, to find some peace within all the shenanigans that was going on. And that is what I would do. And then I moved from Benin to France. And when I came here, I was, completely overwhelmed by the fast pace of life here, the stressfulness of the life here. Here, you have to go, go, go. You can't. There's not a single moment of rest. And during those years, I was, completely overwhelmed by this stressfulness, constant stress in my on my being, and I was fully tired. I was completely drained all the time. But when people would meet me, they wouldn't see that I was, completely tired and drained, and I was completely, all my life force has been completely drained out. I was like a zombie internally, but then externally people will see this joyful woman, like, and everybody wanted to be around me, and everybody wanted my attention. And at some point when everything had to shut down is where I was, forced to, take a minute to think about my life and think about how I was feeling. I was really feeling inside. And that's when all of the, stress came down, and I realized how, drained I was and how unhappy I was. And I started to, try and find some purpose to my life and reconnect to the teachings that I used to have when I was little, protecting your energy, creating bubbles around you, speaking to the benevolence of the universe. I started doing that little by little, and that's when I found Aurora and all of her teachings, and I was like, oh my God, everything that I was living through it's it is real. I'm not just some crazy woman, all this is real. All this is real. Oh my God. So all these encounters, oh, that was negative entities. Oh, this type, that was a reptilian. That was an archon. Oh my God. So now I started to understand. Now I started taking the shielding very um, at heart. I started in understanding the importance of shielding yourself and shielding your energies and taking time to rest, to meditate, to connect, and look at the clues. And yeah, fast forward 2 years, and here we are. I'm certified uh, in aura hypnosis as well as Reiki and Akashic readings, and I'm able to connect to my higher self in a deeper level, and all of the benevolent beings that are constantly around me and speaking to me constantly. So that how I was feeling before was I was pretty sad all the time and completely depressed, and I was feeling very lonely. And now I don't feel that anymore because I'm able to connect to all these beautiful energies that are constantly around me and supporting us as a collective. And you know you feel a lot of love, a lot of love, a lot of how to say, peace as well, when you connect to them and you speak to them, and you allow yourself to trust the messages that are coming through, and you realize that it's not about going out there and doing and pushing, and you know it's not about that. It's really about coming to ourselves and understanding ourselves and loving ourselves and doing what brings joy to our hearts, and doing what how to say, elevates and bring more love within yourself. So that's my journey so far, and yeah, I hope it's going to continue that way.
Yes, it's beautiful. So, did you also like stop doing things that you felt like were draining activities? Like,
Oh yes.
yeah, you had to
Yeah, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
discern what was maybe giving you energy and what was taking away. And now you don't feel tired,
Exactly.
and you look like you have lots of energy. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So the first thing that I started doing when I started shielding my energy is realizing that when I'm in the presence of certain people, I get completely drained.
Mm.
So I started not being in the presence of these people, because if you are with someone that is draining your energy, whether they're doing it consciously or unconsciously, you have to set your boundaries and do what is right for you at the end of the day. And you can send love to these people so that they can ultimately wake up and not trade on other people's energies, and then you remove yourself from these entrapments, so, because our energies is ours to use, and it is not theirs to consume, it's ours to use. So we set up our boundaries and we start saying no to things that are draining, uh, maybe will work that is draining you. You say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to find another way. Or maybe it's a friend, and maybe you had that hunch that maybe this relationship is not as beautiful as I think it is.
Mm.
And when you start, speaking to your higher self and connecting to your intuition more, you realize that you're going to start seeing clues. You're going to start to recognize patterns in those relationships that are toxic patterns that you weren't able to see before. And then you can start acting upon these to better your experience in this lifetime. So yeah, I broke off a lot of training in toxic relationships. I did a lot of clearing of my energies and releasing of past relationships, because when you go into a relationship with someone, whether it is um, love relationship or it is a friendly relationship, there is an exchange of energy that happens. And when you move out of this relationship, you also need to make sure that you remove all of your energies from these relationships as well, and that you remove all of those that other person energies from yourself. So I did a lot of that as well. And it's a process, it's a continuous process, and it's very interesting because you can learn a lot about yourself during those process. Because, well, sometimes you make some decisions you did not, when you made those decisions, you made it for a reason. Now you have a little bit of a time to reflect back on what you did, and then you can start understanding why you made those decisions, and start understanding what was the pattern here, or what was the trauma, and release those trauma, and grow from these experiences. So yeah, I did a lot of that, and it was really amazing, and I'm really happy about that.
Yes. So that was beautiful. Thank you so much. First, I really wanted to clarify, where are you living now?
Yeah, I live in France. I live in a little city that's called Vernon, and my main speaking language is French, and I also speak English. But do excuse me if I make some mistakes because it's not my native tongue. So yeah.
Oh, well, you're right in the right place. We make plenty of mistakes ourselves. So, I did want to ask you, what are the Akashic records?
Yeah, so the Akashic Records is, you can say that it's like a library, and in the Akashic Records, every single experiences and emotions and thoughts and everything that you have experienced from the moment that you were born. And when I say born, I'm not speaking about being born in a physical body. I'm speaking about the moment of your birth as a soul. So from that moment, from that starting moment, everything that you have experienced has been, carefully recorded and protected and guarded by your higher selves and your protective guides. And they are all, recorded in the Akashic Hall of Records. So the Akashic Hall of Records is like everything that makes who you are as an individual soul. So therefore, they are really extremely important to a being, because your Akashic records, if someone goes into your Akashic records, they can know you inside out, because they have access to everything that you ever experienced. All of the lifetime that you've ever experienced, every single emotions, trauma, uh, whatever, all of it, they have access to that. That is what the Akashic records are. So
Can
okay, so when
somebody
some,
can somebody go into your Akashic records without your permission?
no, nobody can access your Akashic records without your permission. And the only person that is allowed to access the Akashic records are you and your higher self. Then when you go, so most of the time when people wake up, when people start waking up, they are going to try and find someone to guide them because they are in new territories, uncharted territories. They do not know what to do. So they go ahead and try and find a spiritual worker that is going to walk them through the path or at least the beginning stages. And most of the time, they can go ahead and have an Akashic readings because it's pretty easy, if I can say so, to have an Akashic reading. You think that it doesn't engage you. Okay, I'm going to get an Akashic reading, and that's going to be fine. But it is very, very important that you do not allow anyone to go into your Akashic records. We, as Akashic records readers, we do not go into people Akashic Hall of Records. The only person that goes in is the higher self. We connect to the higher self of the person. The higher self goes into the Akashic records and shares the information that is needed for that person at that time. So if you go ahead and connect to a practitioner that tells you that I'm going to go to into your Akashic records, that is a huge, huge red flags here because they have access to you. If they have any ill intent whatsoever, or if they have, maybe a negative entity that they're not aware of, that negative entity can do real damage into your Akashic records. They can go ahead and place hooks into maybe a trauma that you lived, and you're going to start repeating that trauma, not knowing why. But that's because there's a hook there that has been placed by the negative entity. So it's very important that you make sure that whatever you're doing, even if it's an Akashic reading, the practitioner that you're going to do that with, you have to make sure that they shield themselves, that they shield the session, to make sure that the session remains sacred, and that they are very benevolent, and you need to connect to your heart and heart discern whether that person is loving, is really, have is coming from a place of love. If in any way you feel that something is wrong, don't go there, don't do it. Listen to yourself and listen to your heart's discernment, and shield yourself, shield your Akashic. Do not allow people to go into your Akashic Hall of Records. The only person allowing to the Akashic record are the higher selves and the person themselves. So yeah, so nobody can access your Akashic records until you give consent. So don't give consent. And the way to not give consent is to shield your energy.
Thank you.
Yes. So it seems like it could be dangerous, and you could even get like a physical illness, right? If somebody was in there and messing around, it could be a very various different issues, right?
Yeah, they can create very different types of infringement upon your energy. And we're not speaking about this to create fear in any way. We are sharing these messages to bring awareness so that you may act upon that awareness that you receive, because you can only act upon something that you are aware of. So we're
Yeah.
telling you what can happen. You can get infringement if someone goes into your Akashic or Hall of Records. If you give consent to that, they can go ahead and do some pretty nasty stuff to you. So you have to be aware of that possibility so that you can make the right decisions when the time comes.
Well, I would trust you to be my practitioner.
You would do, absolutely.
Thank
My
you.
my next question was actually like, does it require a special skill to become an Akashic Records reader, and or could you just be able to develop the talent to read your own Akashic Records?
Yeah, you can read your own Akashic records. As long as you connect to your higher self, you can read your own Akashic records. Basically, reading your Akashic records, we basically do it all the time. because we connect to our higher self all the time. So every time you ask a question to your higher self about something that you did, maybe you're trying to find out why there is this specific pattern that is repeating itself into your life. Let's say maybe you find out that you specifically date toxic men, for example, and you're like, hi self, why is it that I'm all the time dating these toxic men? I don't understand. And then you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you had a dream. That's your higher self bringing up the memory from your Akashic Hall of Record, telling you, oh, this is related to that specific event that happened in that timeline, in that lifetime. And then you are able to access your Akashic Hall of Record that way. So, but something that's important, as I say, and I always repeat that, in whatever type of spiritual things that you are going to do, you need to shield yourself with your own source of light energy, expanding it around yourself to make sure that you are specifically connecting to your higher self, and that you are connecting to the benevolence of creations, and that you're not, getting all those nasty entities that are just, waiting for you to open up your field and coming like, oh, here is someone that's open. I can come in. Ooh la la. No, no, no. We don't want that. We want to shield ourselves, and we want to make sure that we are connecting to the benevolence of the universe, and that we are connecting specifically to our higher self, so that we can get the answers that we need to move forward. So that everybody can access their own Akashic records. The only requirement is to trust and to believe. Trust and believe in the messages that you receive. And I sometimes catch myself not believing in the things that I receive as messages. I'm going to ask a question to my higher self, and I get a vision, and I will be like, why did I get that vision? Like, I don't understand. And then I will remember, oh, that's because I asked that question. So that was the answer. Okay, now believe. So yeah, so that's how it works. You just have to allow yourself to believe in the clues, and believe in the messages. And when the higher self speaks to you, just trust and try. Maybe you can try with little things, small questions. Maybe I don't know what kind of small questions. Something that is not going to maybe change your whole life. Small steps, you know.
Yeah.
Start with small steps and build your intuition and your trust within yourself. And that's all is required.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So today, how does your certification as a quantum galactic Akashic reader assist you in your life?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Um, well, mm, yeah, being certified in Akashic reading assists in many ways. So, like I said, you can access the memories that are from, you know, past timelines, past lifetimes, but no, not timelines, past lifetimes, and be able to understand, with better context, because how can I explain this? This is difficult because English is not my first language. Oh my god, I will find the
Take your
words.
time.
Okay. All right. Um, okay, let's say that I'm facing a situation right now. Maybe I'm facing a situation maybe with the parents, and I'm trying to understand what was this situation is trying to teach me. I'm going to ask my higher self, what is this situation trying to teach me here? And I'm going to go into meditation, and the higher self will take me on a journey. That's always what I do. The higher self will take me on a journey. and we're going to go back in time, all the way to where was the seed of that situation, and then the higher self will show me the entire scene, the entire scenery, and I will be able to understand what was the root to that situation that is happening right now. So this is something that my Akashic reading certification allows me to do, to be able to go within those times and spaces and have a deeper understanding as to where this specific situation was taking place. Maybe a specific dimension, be able to go to that specific dimension to be able to retrieve the information. Going into a specific star cluster to retrieve another information and piece everything together. So that's something that I'm doing every day with this certification. It has assisted me tremendously, and it's continuing to assist me tremendously as well in my life, as well as with my family, when they have some kinds of something happening to them, and we can go ahead and sit and speak to the higher self and channel the message through, ask the higher self what is going on here, what is the root to that situation, and we can go, and the higher self can go into their Akashic Hall of Records and retrieve the message, and help us understand what's the root cause to that situation. So that's something that I think it's beautiful, and I think that everyone can do this, and everyone should be able to do this if you really trust yourself and believe in yourself and allow yourself to connect. Yes.
Uh, I have a question. Does it also like allow you to see what might happen in the future?
Go inside the Akashic. That's a good question, because to me, the future is not written. The future is created as you make a choice in this lifetime, in this timeline. So it's not like I'm going to see the future, but I can see the different possibilities, and the higher self can show you the different possibilities depending on the different choices that you can make. And then it is going to be up to you to choose what is right for you in that moment and in time.
Beautiful.
Thank
That's so
you.
cool. Yeah. Sure. So, can you explain for the audience like what a session would look like? How long does it take? How could they prepare for this session?
Yes, a session can usually take around 45 to an hour. And a way to prepare for an Akashic session is to start yourself connecting to your higher self. Start yourself connecting to your higher self through meditation, and it's going to give you a sense of how your higher self energy feels like, so that when you come into the session, and you can have already have some sense of who your higher self is, basically, because we are our higher self, so we know who our higher self is, but we just sometimes not trust that this is our higher self. So when we come into our session, it also can give confirmation as to the intuition that we were getting, and it also can give us more information about who our higher self is and who are the other guides, benevolent guides that are around us at all times. And so that's a way to prepare for the session, and then also start writing some questions that you have for your higher self, so that during the session you can ask them. So that's why it's important to connect to your higher self before, because when you connect to your higher self, then you can start getting a sense of what is it that you want to know. It allows you to take a moment and reflect on issues, or maybe information that you would like to have, and write down the questions. And then during the session, you can ask them to receive information and answer. And then also during the Akashic reading session, we basically give you since we connect to your higher self, we can tell you who your higher self is. If the higher self shares that information with us, we can tell you, okay, your higher self is this and that benevolent being. If the higher self share the information, and then we can also give a sense. We can also give you who your magical creature companions is, your animal companions as well, the type of archetype that you are, whether if you are a seer or or warrior or an indigo, and answers like that. And yeah, what was the question again? How long? So yeah, it's going to take around 45 to an hour. And yeah, to prepare you, connect to your higher self prior to the session, and prepare a list of questions as well. And
Do you do it over Zoom?
yeah, it's over Zoom. Yes, it's
Nice.
online. Online, yeah,
Nice.
can be done over Zoom. Yes.
Yeah, so anyone can connect with you and get a session. It sounds really awesome.
Yes, I basically do only online sessions. So whether it is the Akashic session or the Aura session or the R.A.A.H Reiki, it's all via Zoom. Yes.
Awesome. Um, what might inspire a client to come to you and receive an Akashic reading session?
Um, I think it's going to be depending on energy, I guess. Mm, when you connect to a practitioner, the first thing that you're going to do is make sure that your energies match. If you understand what I'm saying, so you're not going to book a session with someone that you don't feel their energy is a matching vibration to yours. So yeah, I think it's very important when uh, choosing a practitioner to be able to get a sense of their energy by maybe going onto their website, huh? Going to my website if you want to connect to me, going to my website or on my social medias and see a little bit about what I offer, and get a sense of how my energy feel around for you specifically, and connect to your higher self and speak to your higher self and see if whether or not you feel it within you that this session is going to bring you some kind of assistance or relief in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, my specifically I my goal with every session is to be able to assist people on their most organic timelines, and uh, to be able to help them see that they can heal themselves, that they can pull themselves through, they can pull themselves up, and that they can continue moving forward. So when I connect to people, when people connect to me, I want them to be able to feel that I'm just there. I'm here to push them up, if I can say it like that way. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I think.
What are some of the reasons that people have come to you for an Akashic reading?
So one reason that people come to for Akashic reading is unanswered questions. So when you have like a nudging sensation or some a question in your head and you can't find the answer, that's the main reason why people who get Akashic come and get Akashic readings. to get answers, specific answers to specific questions. Yeah, to be able to connect to the higher self, because sometimes they don't realize that they are already connected to the higher self, so they need a third party or someone to step in and to, okay, so this is what your higher self is saying, and then they can realize that, oh, my higher self has already said that to me. Yeah, so that's the main reason why people come to me to get some readings. Yeah.
That's great. So do you think they walk away with like more of an ability to speak with their higher selves? Yeah. Is that part of the goal, is to help them connect with that higher self-consciousness?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because during the Akashic reading, something that's beautiful is that you get a sense of who your higher self is, and uh, and what your higher self energies feel like. Because during the Akashic reading, we can reconnect to the higher self, we can describe the higher self to you, so you can start picturing the higher self within your mind. So that also allows you to connect deeper to your higher self and also to your magical creatures. If a dragon comes in during the session, for example, and we can describe the dragons to you, and then you can go ahead and connect to that dragon. Maybe the dragon is going to give you a message, a specific crystals that you can use to connect to them further. So we can give you that
Mhm.
crystal, and you can, go ahead and buy that crystal and connect deeper to that magical being. So yeah, the
Yeah.
one goal of that session is to allow people to connect deeper to their higher self and their magical creatures and benevolent guides.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about aftercare, but I think we already answered the question. Is there anything you'd like to add? Like, is there suggestions when somebody leaves your session for them? Like, what do they do?
To listen to the session once more so they can get a deeper understanding of the information that was shared during the session. Because when you are during the session, you're so focused on what you are, you know, you are receiving as information. This is almost like you are in a theta brainwave when you are in a Akashic reading session, and when you leave, you may forget some of the things that were shared. So it's important to listen to the info to the session once more, so that you can, really integrate the information and the teachings that were shared during the session, and start doing. The advice, maybe acting upon the advice that the high self gives during the session. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you ever give information to clients that maybe shock or scare them?
No, no, because all information that we share during the session are channeled from the higher self. So the higher self will never give you something that you're not ready to receive. Therefore, even if it's shocking information, it will be worded in a way that it's going to bring awareness and not cause fear. So I was never confronted with a situation where I gave an information and the person was like, "Oh my God, what is happening? I'm going to die." No, 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 that does not happen. Because the higher self is benevolent, and the higher self only wants what's good for you. The higher self is you, so you only want what's good for you. So you're going to share information that are relevant, and you're only going to share the information that you can handle at this time, in this time and space. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like translated by your super consciousness, which is your higher self, right? Like, so there's a translation that's said, it's probably said in a way that the person can hear it very well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's your favorite part of your business? I know you have several different things that you do with the Reiki and the hypnosis and these Akashic readings. What's your favorite thing that you do?
Hmm. I don't really have a favorite thing that I do, but I really love the aura sessions because you are able to, during an aura session, you are able to travel through time and space. You're able to view such beautiful things, and you're able to learn such wonderful, lifetimes and experiences from people all over the world, and maybe in another dimension, in another universe, so many things that happens. And yeah, what I really, really like to in my work is that, being able to see the shift in the client, because maybe the client comes in before they're a little bit in doubts, and then after you see the shift, and they're like, oh my god, I can do this. You see, I was there. Oh my god. And you're like, yes, you can do it. See, you can do it. I'm so happy for you. So yeah, that's I
Yes.
don't have a specific service that I love. I just love the entire thing in general. So yes.
It offers like confirmation a lot of times for people, right? Like they're not sure what is their mission or if they actually have like a special talent, right? And then you give them a session and it confirms what they already kind of had a seed, like they had that inkling, but then when they, yeah, you're talking about this beautiful moment of confirmation that gives them like empowerment to keep walking their path, right? So good.
Yes. Empowerment is the word.
Yeah.
Empowerment.
I agree with you. I like all of the different modalities, the aura sessions, the raw Reiki, and I'm also liking the Akashic readings, although I am not certified yet. But I like them.
You're in
Um,
training, right?
yes,
Raven, you're in training. Yeah.
yes, I
And
am.
you should where are we getting this training?
We are getting this training at risingphoenix.com, or the Rising Phoenix Mystery School with Miss Aurora, or the fabulous Aurora.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I love it. And anybody who is listening, if there is anything that is resonating to you or you're resonating with, and you would like to know more about, please feel free to go to Aurora's sites, Rising Phoenix Mystery School,
And
um,
aurapractitioners.com.
or a
Yeah,
practitioner.
overpractitioners.com.
Yeah. And check it out, because it's life changing. I mean, don't you agree? It was for me. It was life changing. It changed my total perspective on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree.
So I had the question: do you have a specific archangel that you like to work with, and do you work with that archangel during a reading? And how do you do that?
Um, No, I don't have a specific archangels that I work with. I basically work with all of them. They come in specific time depending on the need at a specific time. So maybe during the Akashic readings, we needed to connect to Archangel Michael, then Archangel Michael is going to come through during that specific reading. And then maybe another reading, it's going to be Archangel Heniel. So yeah, it depends on the reading and on the circumstances.
Um, do you have one can you give an example of like one interesting thing that you learned or you saw, like one experience from these sessions? Um, yes, just give an example.
Yeah. So yeah, I was giving a session to a beautiful soul, a beautiful woman, and during that session, I went to that constellation. I think it was the yeah. I went to a constellation. I don't really remember what constellation. And then there was this beautiful swan on a still lake. And the swan was just, swimming on the lake, very calm, and it had a beautiful crown. I was looking at the swan, and then the swan looks down to its reflection on the lake. And then when I went ahead and looked, it was a beautiful giant dragon. So there was a swan, this beautiful swan, sweet swans were really, really, cute. And then when you look at it, actually, it's a dragon, a very fierce, beautiful, huge dragon. And the teaching that I get through that I specifically remember through that reading is that it doesn't depend. Our appearances does not matter. Within, we are, that beautiful, huge, powerful dragon, and we need to remember our own power, because we are so as powerful as those beautiful dragons. We are, and it's important that we, step into our own power, our own power, and trust ourselves and believe ourselves that we can do this. We can. I mean, we have been here since the beginning, and we're still here through everything that have come through all these years. If you take your life from the beginning all the way to where you are, everything that you went through, and you're still here and you're still pushing through, you are the dragon. You are. So just remember that. And that was a beautiful reminder for me, because sometimes when you are in this world with everything that happens, you can lose faith, and you're like, oh, what is going on? You feel so powerless sometimes, but then you remind yourself with this image, you remind yourself that you have that fire within you. You are the dragon. You are. And you go ahead and you push through and you move forward. So, yeah, that was a beautiful thing that I learned during that session. And I'm happy I had that session.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. That was beautiful.
Or I think we're
No,
on our last question.
no, well, yep, we are. uh, what are your future goals and hopes for your business and upcoming projects?
Yeah, something that I really, really love to do is drawing. And I've been drawing ever since I'm little. And right now I'm, honing my skills to be able to offer channel drawings and channel, higher self drawing, scenery drawing. Because I was thinking to myself exactly about the Akashic reading. I was like, would it be interesting to have a drawing of a scenery that are the highest self channeled, so that we can be reminded of the session? And I was like, okay, that's something interesting that I'm thinking about. And I've only done that for close friends and family so far, and hopefully we're going to make it an offering on my website. So yeah, stay tuned for
That
that.
is beautiful. That's so
Yes.
beautiful and so unique. I mean, that would be activating within itself. Yeah.
I also like to draw. It's been like several years since I really did practice. So I'm recently inspired to draw dragons because like you, I think they're so inspiring. And then also next year is the year of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac. So I think it's really coming into the collective consciousness. So yeah, I'm so glad you're drawing, and I'd love to see that like service on your site, and I want to do something similar. That's really awesome.
I like to
Yeah.
draw too,
Nice.
but mostly I draw my own stained glass patterns. But that puts another perspective on everything. I think that's so beautiful and so unique to you, and it's an amazing thing to have with your Akashic reading.
Thank
And also
you.
when when we are practicing our arts, it ins you're like building your imagination skills, and then all of these healing arts that we're doing with hypnosis and Akashic readings and everything. Like that's all based, like the basis of it is also imagination, right? Because we all have that, because we're all co-creators of the universe. It all begins in the imagination. And so when we're practicing art, we're developing and honing those skills. And so everything informs each other, and it's so
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
what would be the message or what you would like to leave our viewers with about either you or any message that you have that you would like to leave the viewers with?
Hmm. Yeah, I think the message that I want to leave everyone with today is to remember the dragon within you. Yes,
That's
remember your power. Remember your power. You are the dragons. The dragons are you. You are your higher self. Your higher self is you. And you are source love light. And source love light is you. So, remember that power within you, expand it around you, and whatever happens around you, wars and something trying to pull you in such direction, another direction, just expand the love from within you and let it go. Just expand the love within you and let it go, and stand strong in your sovereignty and continue moving forward. Yeah, that's what I want to say to people. If there's only one thing that you can take away with that session, yeah, with that video, is to remember your power. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are loving. You are love. Yeah, that's it.
that's
Yes, thank
beautiful.
you. I want to say to the our subscribers, thank you for being here. And if you could please like this video, share, hit the bell button so that you get notifications. We're doing regular videos every other Friday at 8 p.m. plus extra content. So like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today, Samia. You're a beautiful soul.
Thank you.